Mary Compulsive Eater. Great to be here. Great to see you all. Thank you so much, Joel, for chairing, and thank you, Nancy, as always, for your wonderful service. I am a compulsive eater. I eat three weighed and measured meals from the gray sheet that I turned over to my sponsor. I do not eat anything in between, no matter what, and my abstinence date is the 26th of August, 2023. I don't know why, but I'm feeling very happy to be here tonight. I have changed meetings and I don't come here very much, so it feels really fun to connect with you all. And thank you, Sarah, for asking me to speak. I was reflecting, why do I feel so happy? It's like this is the one thing I've gotten right in my life. I can't, a lot of things I don't know what to say about, but this is like, okay, this is good. This is a really good thing. And I feel very happy about that. So, what it was like, I was recently helping translate the pamphlet. I'll show you this one, A Solution for Compulsive Eaters, which I hadn't really read carefully before, but I was translating it into French for a French group. And it's a great pamphlet. And the 27 questions, I had never looked at them so carefully before. And what it was like before I got into GreySheet is that 24 of those 27 questions were yes to me. It says if you have more than three questions that are yes, GreySheet may be for you. Well, I had 24 out of 27. So that's about all I have to say about my past. I'm here, I belong here, and it was not pretty. Um, and it got worse when I started Alcoholics Anonymous about 18 years ago. Um, so what I've understood is that this addiction to sugar and food. For me, it was a lot sugar and the other things less so, but carbohydrates and grains. But sugar was an enormous addiction, and alcohol kind of soothed that. Um, because when I took alcohol, I don't know that for sure, except when I took alcohol away, my food addiction just skyrocketed. And that's when I hit my bottom. And not only that, I didn't have the alcohol to fall back on, but there was nothing to fall back on except food. I just didn't have anywhere to go with my issues except to eat them away. It was just so horrifying to me the way that I was acting and what I was doing with food. So my bottom was when I got caught stealing foods from people. This is so horrible. But I had two moments that were really big red lights for me. One was my grandchildren. I live in France, and my ex-husband has four that are just grandchildren that are just beautiful. And they make a big deal out of snacks here in France. They go to all kinds of lengths to prepare these beautiful snacks. And so one afternoon, my husband prepared these snacks, and then he took the kids out to go play. And I was supposed to look in the oven and take them out and put them on the table and be ready for them when they came back. So what do you think I did? Like any horrible addict in her bottom, I ate those snacks, those wonderful sugary snacks. I ate them all. And when the kids came home, they ran in the door and they said, "Where are the snacks? We're hungry." And then everyone looked and they couldn't find it. They said, "Mamik," that's what they called me. "Mamik, where are the snacks?" And all I could do was hang my head and say, "Well, I ate them. I'm so sorry." It was just a moment beyond belief. And I did the same thing with a spiritual retreat that I went to. I got caught eating somebody's breakfast during the night. I mean, that night I ate it and I got caught the next morning. So anyway, it was just totally out of control. And it was shameful. I think the worst feeling was the shame of how I was acting, as well as all the other things that it did to my body and mind. And so what happened that I got here is that I had been complaining in AA, in Alcoholics Anonymous, for a while, months, at least a year, at how horrible my food was and
10
how
left,
horrible, and
Mayor. 10 left.
that's 10. Very good. Thank you. Saw those 10 fingers. How horrible my food was, but also how horrible another addiction was. And I had tried working the steps in Alcoholics Anonymous around those issues, food, and another one, and I had tried WhatsApp groups and small little groups of people who were working on it. Nothing would work, and like all of those 27 questions say, just, the yo-yoing and the trying everything, and just nothing worked. And there was a little angel in one of my AA meetings who gave me her phone number after the meeting and said I could call her. And she became my first sponsor. So that's what happened. That's how I got here. And so I'm forever eternally grateful to that person. And I just, people have been talking about sponsorship lately. I think there's a little workshop on it or something. I just wrote down all the things that I could remember that she did for me. And this is not all of them, but so we got started on the phone that day that I got her number, and she explained that I'd need a scale and a tablespoon. So I went out and I got that for weighing and measuring my food. The next day, she met with me and gave me the gray sheet, both a paper copy and a plastic laminated copy, which I still have in my kitchen and I look at it all the time. We read it carefully together. She showed me her kitchen, how she weighs and measures her food. She told me what portions to eat, when to eat, and we made an agreement to talk on the phone every morning at 7 a.m., 7:30 a.m. for 15 minutes. And we did that for more than a year every morning without fail. She told me to go to a gray sheet meeting every day, and she gave me a little notebook, a spiral notebook with all the meeting materials, a table with a beautiful little colored table with all the meetings that she goes to, and a little place to put all the phone numbers of people that you could call, that I would gather with time going to meetings of people that I could call for outreach. So I have this enormous package of beautiful things that she gave me, and so I felt very motivated to work hard at it because she was working so hard at it. She told me how to behave in meetings. She spent a long time educating me that I don't multitask. I look at the screen, how to say my day count, the mantra, get phone numbers, give other people my phone numbers, and just so much coaching around those things. And about a week later, she went to the grocery store with me and showed me how to read the labels, so that I didn't accidentally eat things with non-abstinent ingredients in them. And then plus we would meet time to time in person to go through whatever I needed to talk about and we needed to talk about together. So for me, it was just a miracle. I got down to my goal weight in about 4 months. I didn't crave sugar anymore. I was hungry during those times, during those 4 months, but I did not crave sugar, and it wasn't so bad that I couldn't, with all the support of all the meetings and the sponsor, I couldn't deal with it. So it was a big miracle for me. I've had two extra day ones, but I've never left the meetings. I now go regularly to the French meeting on Thursday evenings, and I go to 11th step focused meetings and sometimes the London meeting and this and that. I participated in the Paris roundup last year and went to the London roundup. So I'm engaged and I really love you all. So what it's like now, so that was what happened. And what it's like now is I want to talk a little bit about sponsorship. I've tried being a sponsor and I've had two sponsors now, and I just think that sponsorship is a really big deal in this program. That sponsors have a lot of responsibility. They have a lot of work to do, and it's a lot of emotional kind of caring. We're like little children, uh, we GreySheeters, and can I eat this? No, And so they established the food portions. I mean, that's enormous, giving somebody responsibility to say how much you can eat and decide when you've gone over your commitment, putting you back on day one, which I'm sure is not easy. Dealing with medical crises, like, that's enormous responsibility to walk somebody through whether when they can't eat and can only drink, what are they going to do about that because of stomach, whatever. And in fact, they're in control of everything that goes in your mouth, so it's enormous what the sponsor does. It's not like sponsoring in the other programs. And I'm really so touched and in awe of what people do in this program. It takes a lot of experience and time and dedication to make it work. And like with all
Five
important
left, Mayor.
relationships, five left. Thank you. I'm a little ahead of myself. That's good. uh, so, like with all important relationships, it can take time to work things out. As a sponsee, I try to be aware of all that's being done for me and try to give back to my sponsor by moral support and sharing the journey together as well as I can, as well as giving back to the program. I'm just so aware of how much I get from people. And then the other thing of what it's like now is dealing with all those childhood issues that come to the forefront. I used to have a therapist who said, uh, food, mother, mother, food. Food goes back to the very beginning. And my experience in this program is most of us have some pretty hard things to work through in our beginning life and during childhood. And I certainly had mine. Seems like most of us were either abused or neglected, and that was certainly true for me. And there's a quote that I got from somebody from the 12th step, from the eighth step in the AA book, 12 and 12, says this, talking about reopening of emotional wounds, sometimes old, sometimes perhaps forgotten, and some still painfully festering. So I'm on step two, and so that festering is, below surface, but boy, do I feel it. And there's a lot of childhood stuff that's just coming up so powerfully because I don't have the food to go back to. And I did have to join another 12-step fellowship because the other addiction got so bad. But, I just feel so raw. So I'm taking the steps like is recommended here really slow in this program. I'm step two. And I think of all the time I spent on step one, but that pamphlet that I showed you, this one, the Gray Sheet Solution for Compulsive Eaters, those 27 questions, the fact that I have yes to 24 of those, that's like step one for me. It's like I don't have to worry about whether I belong here. But I have become painfully aware of my childhood wounds that are still festering, like the book says, and that lead me to have difficult relationships with people. That's just the truth of who I am. So, and what it's like now is nothing major is the same 2 years later after I started Gray Sheet. The lifting of the food fog allowed me to see clearly what changes I needed to make. I've gotten through a friendly divorce after 19 years of a bad marriage. I've changed my work activities and let go of one situation that wasn't good for me. I've moved to the neighborhood and home of my dreams. My relationships with my son and family of origin are very good at the moment. I've embarked on some new exciting creative pursuits like creative writing and art. I performed a poem for the first time in my life in front of an audience, which was hugely fun. But more than anything, I appreciate the fact that my relationship with my higher power has deepened because of this program. Um, the clarity of mind has allowed me to go much deeper in my prayer and meditation. And also I've learned about practicing two-way prayer, which isn't a tool of Gray Sheet, but I'm going to say it because a lot of people know it. And I've been learning that in this program, and the two-way prayer method really works for
1 minute, Mayor.
yeah, thank you so much, Nancy. Perfect. And yeah, just it was a part of the Oxford group that was the precursor to AA. So that's why I think it's okay to say here. So all of that just for weighing and measuring my food every day. It's a pretty good deal. I'll end with the freedom from the gray sheet 12 and 12 that from at the moment means the most to me. Freedom to become what each of us always wished to be or someone new. Uh, so I thank you for your generous and loving support in this amazing journey. Thanks. That's it.